Alright, so there's something I want to talk about, and and that's that in Minneapolis, people are trying to pretty much get rid of, at least, at least from what I can tell, they're trying to get rid of the Minneapolis Police Department, or defund it, or something like that, which is in the whole like Black Lives Matter thing, and in the wake of the whole George Floyd stuff, which is a tragedy, tragedy, because that's a word. But yeah, the George Floyd thing was truly a tragedy, and I agree that there are things that should be done about it, but see, and I'm fully supportive of it. Although I think, although if you ask me, these looters and rioters, these people that are like damaging stuff and using George Floyd as an excuse to push, well, just to kind of do whatever the hell they want, I think is very wrong. And if you ask me, they should be tried for this, because just because and yeah, and that's my opinion on the looters and rioters. They should be charged, because they're just using the whole George Floyd thing to profit. They don't really care, or I'm guessing that they don't really care about George Floyd, and they it's obviously they don't care, because instead of actually doing anything, they're just doing things to benefit themselves, which is wrong. And looting is a crime. But on the whole, trying to get rid of the police department thing, I think that's, well, to be quite blunt, fucking stupid, because here's the thing. I don't care what statistics are out um, about black people being likely to, I, bugs me using the word black people for, or just describing someone by their race. But anyway, um, but here's the thing. Even if black people are more likely to die from police, the thing is, there are always going to be bad eggs in any given community. That's, well, maybe not even community, just group. Like, like gaming. And gamers have the bad eggs. The, e-beggars and, others that I can't think of right now. and that's, and there are people in the police force who shouldn't be there, and that's just a sad fact of life. But but you shouldn't bring down the police force, because here's the thing. You know, the police, yes, they can be a bad thing because there are bad cops, but I think of trying to shut down the entire police force is not only is stupid, but also reckless and short-sighted, because here's the problem with trying to get rid of the entire police force, or defund them. The problem with that is that without order, or we go into anarchy, yeah, that's why we have the police, so people don't start killing each other, and it doesn't, and this doesn't turn into the fucking Wild West. And I can understand trying to do something against the police force to try and get rid of these problems. Getting rid of the entire police force, again, it's short-sighted. Because, again, without the police force, we would fall into anarchy. And it would just become a lawless wasteland. Maybe not a wasteland, but things just, without the police, things would just go very wrong. Because, you know, the whole reason the police are here is to keep the order. And, and without them putting criminals away, what do you think would happen? And here's what would happen. And again, we would fall into anarchy. And people would be able to get away with murder and robbing. And and yeah, I'm kind of ranting, but we really do. We can't just get rid of the police force, because that's just so short-sighted. Because, again, without the police force, we fall into anarchy and yada yada yada, like I said. It's just, I agree that, I agree that something should be done about the police force and the corruption within it, but I think, but getting rid of the police, or defunding them as they're calling it, is, it's short-sighted, reckless, and just a bit on the extreme. Anything, fuck off. But yeah, it's just, we just can't get rid of the police, because getting rid of them just isn't smart. So, I'm kind of bummed that I can't just skip the ad. Okay, that's not a sponsored thing, I have to deal with it. But yeah, I think it's just short-sighted. And again, reckless, because without the police force, it would just fall into chaos. And it's just not smart. It's just, it's just not the right answer, and too extreme. And I just wanted to point out some things that could very easily and will most likely go wrong with the whole trying to get rid of the police force thing. Because without the police, while they can be a bad faction, it's not like the police are going out of their way to try and harm people. Because, I mean, it's their whole fucking job to keep us safe. And again, there are going to be bad apples on the police force. That's just a fact of life, that there are gonna be bad apples in any group. It's just unavoidable. And something we'll just kind of have to live with. Like gaming and YouTubers, because I mean YouTubers, there are bad eggs. While there are plenty of good YouTubers like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, both people I recommend you subscribe to, because both great people. Um, but yeah, like, but then you also have but you also have the Logan Pauls, the Logan and Jake Pauls of any group. The people that just should, that, that just should not be able to exist, and realistically, if things went bad, they would probably be the first people to get sacrificed or thrown into the fire. And people that just should not be in power. Um, or like the Trumps. And the Trump, you can go fuck off, because I know Trump will try and get rid of that of me, but I don't care. But yeah, it's just inevitable. There are going to be those bad people in any group. It's just, again, we can't get rid of that fact. We can only try and, the only thing we can really do against that is, we'll try and get rid of those bad people. I totally agree that something should be done, and about what happened to George Floyd. But again, defunding the police is short-sighted and just not the right answer. It just really is not the right answer. And, yeah, I may be repeating that, and I do repeat stuff, but it's just, again, man, it's just not the right answer. Getting rid of the police force is, if anything, it's just gonna make things worse. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way, because it's just, again, not the right answer. So, yeah. And to any extremists or whatever that are SJWs, which SJWs can go fuck themselves. But yeah, like, and to anybody who's gonna try and like twist my words, just fuck off, because disclaimer, again, I just want to say this to like make sure that people aren't gonna, to make crystal clear that, so people know that I'm not like, that I don't think like oh, George Floyd was a necessary evil or whatever. Because, really, because, or whatever, maybe not even this, but it was just, George Floyd was truly a tragedy, and thankfully there are some people who aren't just looting for their own gain, that are actually, like, fighting, and if you're gonna protest against the whole George Floyd situation and try and, like, bring him to like, bring the office, like, just try and make, if you're gonna try and, like, make, if you're gonna try and, like, make the, it's just, I do agree that if you can protest the whole George Floyd thing, but don't loot or riot. Do peaceful protests, because violent protests don't solve anything, and they just kind of make things worse. Doing violent protests really do. They just make things worse. And violent protests and looting just aren't the right way to go about anything. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of voice my main concerns about, like, trying to defund the police in Minneapolis, because, again, the police provide law, and without law we fall into chaos, and so we kind of need the police, because the police are just doing their their due diligence, and just trying to make, and just trying to make the right choice, and are just making the right choice, or just making the choice they think is right, whether it may or may not be. Because we're all human, we all make mistakes. But am I saying that the officer who killed George Floyd shouldn't come to justice? Of course not, because he should. The officer who killed George Floyd should come to justice, and I do agree with trying to get him to face the charge of manslaughter, because because whether an accident or not, he did kill someone, which is not okay. And it wouldn't matter if it was like a Stalin or something. And a life is a life, and taking someone else's life is not okay, because again, a life is a life. Yeah, that was kind of but yeah, that was a bit of a rant. Again, I wanted to get some of my concerns out of the way. Fucker. But yeah, I just wanted to get kind of some of my concerns out of the way, yeah, and just kind of hopefully try and derail this whole get rid of the police. So, yeah. Hopefully, we are able to find a better option. But other than that, hey, we'll see you guys. Bye.